our former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Irwin Cotler.
Thank you, Stephen, for being once again an exemplary moderator of today's discussion. May I begin by commending the GIC for convening this not only timely but significant forum on peace and security, and for being joined by trends in this joint exercise. And I have to say, I want to commend Imam Tahidi. Those were one of the most powerful set of remarks that I've ever heard. And I have to say that what you said today must be required reading, not just in this room, but it must be heard and acted upon by all Canadians. And so what you gave us today was really a call to action. What you set forth today was really a moral imperative, a strategic imperative, because what we are confronting today with respect to the dangers of radical extremism and radical terrorism, the whole is set forth here in the Symbols of Terror booklet, which also should be required reading. Let there be no mistake about it. All this is a standing threat to Canadian national security, to Canadian values, to our own shared identity and commitment. You know, I'm reminded that when I was Minister of Justice, one of my first acts was to introduce a national justice initiative against racism and hate. And the follow-up was to set up a council on national security. And I invited a Jew and a Muslim to be co-chairs of that Council on National Security. But I'm reminded with my son here today, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, that he came to me afterwards and he said, "Dad, that was a great initiative, the Council on National Security. That was a great initiative to have a Muslim and a Jew as joint chair, except you appointed someone from the Muslim Brotherhood to be the co-chair of the National Council." He had a prescient sense then, and he's too modest to say, but he's just completed an expert report on the Muslim Brotherhood in Canada. So I have my son always as a humbling presence when I get it wrong, although my initial intention was to bring together the Muslim and Jewish communities in our joint commitment to and our joint need for working together in the protection of our national security. And therefore, I'm delighted also to be present here when Trends has brought forth their own powerful remarks. Dr. Mohammed Al-Ari, Shams Al-Kabazi, I think you gave us today a framework also to be understanding of the dangers with respect to Generation Z and the manner in which social media and the like. I'm one of those who's not on social media. I'm told by my family, you're lucky, so you don't know what they're saying about you in the social. But I do know its danger and its toxicity and why we have to move together to combat it. May I sum it up all by saying that the GIC represents what I regard as the best of Muslim values, the best for Canadian Muslim relations, the best hope for joint involvement in the struggle to protect our shared values, and for working together, and here the UAE can be at the forefront of this, for the working together for the advancement of Middle East peace and international peace and security. No, we're meeting today at the same time as our Prime Minister Carney is right now in the UAR. And I heard this morning Jean Charest, former Premier of Quebec, who spoke about, and he chairs the Canada-UIA Business Council. And he spoke very appropriately today about the advancements in the meeting today in the United Arab Republic, Canada, UAR, in matters of trade and energy, AI, and the like. But what this meeting is bringing forward for us is the larger and commanding imperatives of countering the radical extremism that challenges our capacity to do all that. And, you know, I said when I was the special envoy for combating anti-Semitism, I spoke about the fact that anti-Semitism is not only a threat to Jews, it's toxic to democracies. It's the canary in the mineshaft of global evil. And that while it begins with Jews, it doesn't end with Jews. Similarly, you know, the other thing is, when we talk about the Second World War, Dachau, the concentration camp, was built in a democracy, Germany. 1935, and we are 90 years later, the Nuremberg laws, racist laws, were adopted in a democracy. And we know how all that ended up. And that is why I say today, and that is why I find Imam Tahiri's remarks so powerful. They're so powerful because this has to be seen as a wake-up call here. Because this radical Islamic extremism is not just a threat to minorities. It's not just a threat even to Muslims. It's a threat to the very things that are bringing us here today. And that is the struggle for peace, the struggle for security, the struggle for international peace and security, and the struggle for the pursuit of justice. It's an assault on all our shared foundational values. And when I said at the National Forum to Combat Anti-Semitism last March, convened by the Canadian government, I said, we don't need performative politics, and we don't need any more virtue signaling by the Canadian government. What we need are actionable deliverables. And what we heard today from Imam Tahiri means what we need now are actionable deliverables in combating this radical extremism, because it is a threat to our democracy, it's a threat to our national security, it's a threat to our shared foundational values. So thank you, Imam. I will make sure to see that your speech, in terms of, I say this as chair of the Rao Wallenberg Center for Human Rights, we will do our best to make sure that that speech is heard and acted upon, and that should be the challenge for us here today, to see Imam Tahiri's remarks as a call to action, and to make that call to action deliverable in concrete policy terms, where Canada is no longer missing an action, but Canada delivers the action that is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cotler. Marvelous. Imam, am I right that the word sharaka means partnership?
It does.
It means partnership. That sounds like a good name for an organization to be represented here today.